Salute, 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 salute. Welcome to the Real Big Fruit Podcast. I'm your host, Big Fruit, the Michael Jordan of record early in the morning, also known as the voice of the streets, better known as your boy Francis MH, the most hated, but better known as the MC, the most controversial. What's popping? It's early one. It's an early one. It's Saturday, and I figured I'll sneak this one in on y'all. Y'all know I'm working. I'm working every day because your boy gonna have oral surgery soon, and I ain't gonna be able to talk. I ain't gonna be up on no cameras, you know what I'm saying, without my jibs in my mouth because I'm about to lose them all. I'm about to get it the whole ripped up. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Shooters and stick-up kids, right? And speaking of stick-up kids, I want to send a major shout out to the man, King Tut. Yes, King. Salute, King. I see you putting your feet on the ground already. Yes, the boy was out there doing what he do. You know what I'm saying? He was out there preaching to the youth and letting them know education is very important, and education is something that no one can ever take from them. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to salute Tut for hitting the streets and doing what he do ASAP. He got to it. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why they let him go. You know what I'm saying? Because he is more valuable in society than he was in a cage. Salute to you, King. Real talk. Also, I'm back in East New York with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm back in East New York with it because East New York and Bed-Stuy are where a lot of our shooters and a lot of our stick-up kids come from, right? So I'm in East New York, I'm in Brownsville and Bed-Stuy. That's where I'm at with it today. And I'm going to talk about the shooters and the stick-up kids. And I'm not here to name drop who was a shooter, who was a stick-up kid. That's not what this video is about. What this video is about is to define the difference between the shooters and the stick-up kids of the early 80s. Old Brooklyn. Yes, indeed. I'm talking old Brooklyn. See, when I was coming up in the early 80s, I hit the streets 84, 85, 86. I was too young to know about the shooters. I didn't know who the shooters were. In fact, I didn't even know who the bodies were that were dropping in the early 80s. But I grew up knowing who the stick-up kids were, who the robbers and the thieves were. I knew who they were in the early 80s. You know what I'm saying? 85, 86, 87. Stick-up kids was coming through. The crack era. The boom of the crack era, like 85, 86, when everybody started trying to hustle. That's when the stick-up kids was out there for real. Then you had the late 80s going into the early 90s where them stick-up kids was now catching bodies. Now the stick-up kids is going off to prison just like the shooters did in the early 80s. All right. Now, I want you to walk with me. I went to prison in the early 90s. And when I got to prison, the comrades and the OGs that had 10, 15, and 20 years in, the Bogards, I'm going to name drop a few. The Bogards, the Knowledge Borns, you know what I'm saying? Bed-Stuy, East New York. I'm trying to get the shooters that was locked down for a long time when I first came up north. Like, these were the shooters. These were the shooters. They left the streets 83, 84, 85 for putting something down. They were the shooters. And now I'm seeing these dudes. I never heard of these dudes when I was in the street. Like, I'm going to learn about these dudes in prison. And what I learned was these were the dudes that left the streets in the early 80s because they were shooters. Now, the stick-up kids I grew up watching and knowing, they were the ins and out of prisons, the ins and out of jails, the robbery bids, shit like that, the assaults, clapping motherfucker here and there. That's what the stick-up kids did. But shit changed. Now the stick-up kids not doing the 1 to 3s, the 2 to 4s for the robberies no more from the mid-80s. The late 80s come around, crack is booming, early 90s, everybody getting money. So now the stick-up kids is robbing the drug dealers for real. And the drug dealers is firing back. So now the murder rate is up. So now the stick-up kids become, I'm not going to call them shooters. Yeah, they might have caught a body in the midst of a robbery, but that didn't make them the shooters. They were still the stick-up kids. And then they end up catching these bodies, going off to prison, yada, yada, yada. Now, one thing about the shooters of the early 80s, the shooters of the early 80s, they was putting it down, and their names was ringing in the joint, but it was a difference. The stick-up kids' names was ringing in the street. So their names was ringing in the joint because everybody who was going in and out of the joint on the skid bids and all that shit, back salad, in and out on the 3s and all that shit, those were the dudes getting the guns thrown in their face. Like, they was robbing robbers. They was robbing stick-up kids, robbing each other. Like, it was going down. Their names rung bells in a different manner. You know what I'm saying? The stick-up kids' names rung bells in a different manner. For example, Tut. They considered him a stick-up. You see how his name rung bells in a different manner. Then when you go to out to Queens, they Prince, a shooter. His name rung bells in a different manner. You know what I'm saying? It was just different. It was just different. It was just different. But yeah, you had to know the difference between the shooters and the stick-up kids, because the shooters are the guys that left in the early 80s, 84, 85, 86. And those are the ones that did those 30 years. Those are the ones that went to the parole board 4, 5 times and got denied parole. You understand what I'm saying? Those are the dudes that was gone a long time. Then you got the early 90s coming around. And, you know, stick-up kids, they in and out, they catching felony. And that's another thing I want to say. The shooters from the early 80s, a majority of them only got one felony. The majority of them only got one felony. The stick-up kids got felonies. That's where the predicates come in and the persistent felons, because they stick-up kids. I'm telling you, I'm defining the differences for you. I want you to understand the difference between the shooters and the stick-up kids. It was definitely a difference. It was definitely a difference. It was definitely a difference. Yeah, man, I went to prison in the early 90s and met a lot of shooters. Like, damn, y'all been going, like, I had to learn who they were. And first of all, I had to learn who the fuck was in that yard. You know what I'm saying? You better learn who in that yard, because it'll save your life. You understand what I'm saying? And another thing, remember how I always say, yo, man, you got to pay homage, you got to pay respect, and you got to remember where you come from. You can't ever be too hung up on yourself that you don't recognize another real one. And I always say this, man, the graveyard is filled with a lot of real ones, because those real ones didn't want to recognize other real ones. You have to acknowledge another real one, son. You have to. And organically, because it is written in the bars like Nas, he's going to acknowledge you as well. You got to pay homage, son. You got to. Don't think you shit, man. Don't do that. Don't think you the shit. I just wanted to say that. Don't think you the shit. But yeah, man, it was definitely a difference between the shooters and the stick-up kids. In the comments, I want you to tell me what you think the difference was. You know what I'm saying? Who did you grow up seeing? Who did you grow up watching? Because I didn't grow up watching the shooters. They were gone. I didn't even know who the shooters were. I didn't know who the people were that died. I learned all that Brooklyn history about the shooters of the early 80s. I learned that in prison by personally meeting them. I didn't know nothing about them. I grew up knowing about, admiring, and personally knowing the stick-up kids. Yeah. The digging pocket, the pocket diggers. You know what I'm saying? The boosters. You know what I mean? I grew up knowing them. I ain't grew up knowing the shooters. I met those OGs in the joint. Damn, I just said the word OG and it made me think of Soul B because I got hit in the comments like, yo, we need a Soul B joint. I think I'm going to have to reach out to the OG, get him on the line and let him burn my ears down and then present to y'all my story of Soul B. Now, what do you think Soul B was? A shooter or a stick-up kid? Yeah, I'm talking about Soul B, the homie. Yeah. What do you think Soul B was? A shooter or a stick-up kid? Y'all want the story of Soul B? I'm going to work on that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Soul B. Real talk. But listen, man, I'm always in Brooklyn. I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect and no spite or slight to any other borough. You know what I'm saying? I even bigged up Queens today. I threw Prince in there. You know what I'm saying? Because Prince was recognized as a shooter. And welcome home, Prince. You know what I'm saying? You got your second chance. And you about to begin your new journey on life. You know what I'm saying? Word to mother, man. Salute to you. And salute to Tut. You know what I'm saying? Getting to it. He was out there talking to the kids, boy. I know they was like, word, son. I know they was bugging. But salute to you, son. Word to mother, boy. He was out there. The guard was out there letting them kids know education is key. And your education is the one thing they could never, ever take from you, man. So get your education. Yeah, he was at the high school talking to the kids, man. Salute to him, man. Word him up. Yeah, man. Listen, man. You got a lot of woman in your corner, boy. You got a lot of woman in your corner, man. That's all I'm going to say. Shout out to Mac Mama. She's getting to it. Word up. Listen, man. It's your boy Big Fruit. You know how I do. It's an early Saturday morning. I figured I'd come through and entertain y'all. You know what I'm saying? Keep this channel rolling every day. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow will be Sunday. We're going to get up. We're going to do the Sunday brunch. You know what I'm saying? We go to the NFL picks. We're going to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? But I figured I'd entertain y'all today, Saturday morning, on a sneak tip and hit y'all with the shooters and stick-up kids. You know what I'm saying? 80s, old Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Little John, free Little John. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to You Majesty, free You Majesty. You know what I mean? Shout out to iGuard, Nails, you know what I'm saying? Word to mother. Knowledge, you know what I mean? Word up, you know what I'm saying? I'll take you back to the old school with the style, you know what I mean? Word to mother. Shout out to B.O. on NA Rock. Rest in peace to Kagi, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Nate Cash. Rest in peace to the big homie Nate Cash, a.k.a. It Ain't, you know what I mean? What else? Rest in peace to Crazy Troy off NA Rock. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? My Omar, you know what I'm saying? My Omar Little was none other than light-skinned Troy, straight stick-up kid, letting it go. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Rashawn, who used to move crowd. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, sir, stick-up kids and shooters shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, stick-up kids and shooters, it was crazy. Then we had the pocket diggers, you know what I mean? Taking all that money out there, you know what I mean? Free God told you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Drat, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Slop, you know what I'm saying? Word to mother, Big Slop and Little Slop. Rest in peace of Shoot Shine. You know what I mean? The list goes on, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even go to LG. I ain't even go to LG, kid. Rest in peace to Tito, a.k.a. Big Nut. Rest in peace to Big Art. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, the list go on. I could go on and on and on. Name dropping, man. Stick up kids, shooters, old Brooklyn 80s style. It was crazy. It was crazy, kid. Word up. You know what I'm saying? You heard Bush. He kept name dropping Bogart. Bogart was legendary. Legendary. You know what I'm saying? The legendary shooters, they left in the 80s and they put those 20s in, 25s, 30s. They the ones who was going to them parole boards dealing with that 4 hits, 5 hits. Like, damn, these niggas ain't gonna never let me go. When we start coming up for parole, the early 90s dudes, when we start coming up for parole in the early 2000s, dudes done beat the ground up, you know what I'm saying? Got into the politicians' ear and was like, yo, y'all gotta start letting life go. And things started to change. So we weren't getting smacked at the parole board with them life bids like that. Dudes was going to board, 20 to life first board, making the board. 25 to life first board, making the board. But the shooters from the early 80s now, 20 years, go to the board, dudes, come back 22 years, 2 more years. Come back, dudes, 24 years. Come back, dudes, 26. You see these niggas in the yard, yo, son, the OG got 30 in. How the fuck he got 30 in? Yo, they keep hitting them. Yeah, those was the shooters. The cop bodies, banging out, the BLA, you know what I'm saying? All that, Black Panthers. Listen, it's a difference. It's a difference between shooters and stick-up kids, kid. Word to mother, son. I'm teaching y'all something. Educate yourself. Do your history. Don't be one of these dudes out there just running your jibs. Repeating everything you hear. Don't believe everything you hear. Even if it came from me. That's what Ho said. Even if it came from me. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe everything you hear. Do your research. Word up. And on that note, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to end this segment. I'm going to end this episode. Shooters and stick-up kids. 80s, old Brooklyn. I hope I entertained you. I hope I educated you. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, it's a Saturday morning. I'm going to go get some money. I'm going to go get some money. Word up. I'm going to go punch that clock and get some money. It's going to be a short day, though. But you know what else I'm going to do? Y'all will see me on social media today. Power wash in my house. I think I'm going to power wash my house today. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a homeowner, son. This homeowner shit is real. It's real, son. Bills be sneaking up on you that are not monthly bills. I did my gutters the other day. That was not a monthly bill. I didn't anticipate on spending over $3,000 for some fucking gutters. I ain't anticipate that. Now I'm power wash this motherfucking house. You know what I'm saying? I ain't paying for that. I'm gonna do that shit myself. Roll up my sleeves and get out there and get busy. You know what I'm saying? Word up. Listen, man, it's your boy Big Fruit. You know how I do. I come through 6 minutes, Dougie. I say what it is. I say what it ain't. But I'll come through every now and then and drop a surprise video as I am doing now. Shooters and stick-up kids, 80s, old Brooklyn. Once again, I hope I entertained you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you appreciate my hard work and dedication to my channel. Until next time, y'all know what it is. Salute.